Life begins at 40, a fresh take on midlife. They say life begins at 40, and you know what? There's something to that. Carl Jung, one of the heavyweights of 20th century psychology, reckoned the first few decades of our lives are just the warm-up act. Up until your 40s, you're out there doing the hard yards, gathering experiences, figuring out who you are, and laying the groundwork for something bigger. It's not the main event, it's research, as Jung put it. And when you hit midlife, that's when the real story kicks off. It's a bold idea. One that flips the script on how we think about getting older. Instead of dreading the big 4-0, what if we saw it as a chance to step into a richer, more authentic life? The first half. Building the foundations. Let's take a step back and think about what those first 40 years are all about. In your 20s and 30s, life's a bit like a road trip across the outback. You're exploring, taking day tours, and trying to figure out where you're headed. You're soaking up the world around you, picking up values and ideas from your mates, your family, and the culture you're steeped in. It's a time of big moves, chasing dreams, building careers, maybe starting a family, or just trying to keep up with the chaos of modern life. You're asking the big questions: who am I? What do I want? What's going to make me happy? But the answers often feel like they are just out of reach. This is the phase Jung called building the persona. It's the face you show the world, the version of yourself that fits in, gets the job done, and earns a nod of approval from society. Whether you're climbing the corporate ladder in Sydney, running a small business in regional Queensland, or juggling life as a parent, you're shaping an identity that works in the eyes of others. And that's not a bad thing. It's how we learn to navigate the world, pay the bills, and build a life. But here's the catch: that persona isn't the whole you. It's like a well-worn pair of boots, comfy and practical. But it doesn't tell the full story of who you are. In those early decades, you're often running on autopilot, chasing external markers of success. Maybe it's the corner office, the dream house, or just keeping up with the Joneses, or the Wilsons, if we are keeping it Aussie. You're striving, sometimes stumbling, and always learning. But as Jung saw it, all of this is just prep work. It's the foundation for something deeper, something that starts to take shape when you hit midlife. The midlife shift, a wake-up call. Somewhere around 40, things start to feel different. Maybe it's a quiet moment at the beach, watching the waves roll in, or maybe it's hitting a milestone at work and wondering, is this it? The priorities that used to drive you, getting that promotion, ticking off society's checklist, don't seem to matter as much anymore. You might start asking yourself tougher questions. Am I living the life I really want? What's this all for? These aren't just fleeting thoughts, they are the kind that stick around, nudging you to dig deeper. This is where the idea of a midlife crisis comes in. But let's be real, calling it a crisis is a bit dramatic. Sure, pop culture loves to paint it as a time of reckless decisions, like buying a flashy car, or ditching everything to find yourself on a winery tour through the Barossa. But Jung had a different take. He saw this as an awakening, not a breakdown. It's not about losing the plot, it's about finding your true north. Those questions bubbling up, they are not a sign you're falling apart, they are a signal you're ready to step into the life you were meant to live. This shift doesn't happen in a flash. It's more like a slow sunrise, creeping up over the horizon. Maybe it starts with a nagging feeling that something's off, or a moment of clarity during a long drive through the bush. You realize the life you've built, while solid, was shaped by other people's ideas of what success and happiness look like. And that realization, while a bit unsettling, is also freeing. It's the first step towards what Jung called individuation, the process of becoming your whole, authentic self. Individuation, becoming the real you. Individuation sounds like a fancy term. But it's really about getting real with yourself. It's about peeling back the layers of that persona you've been wearing and discovering what's underneath. Up until now, you've been playing roles: the high-flying professional, the reliable mate, the devoted partner or parent. Those roles are important, but they are not the full picture. At midlife, you start to feel the itch to move beyond them, to integrate all parts of yourself, even the bits you've kept hidden. Jung talked about the shadow, the parts of ourselves we've pushed aside or ignored. It's the insecurities, the fears, the dreams we never chased because they didn't fit the script. Maybe it's the part of you that wanted to start a craft brewery, but settled for a safer career, or the creative side you buried because life got too busy. Facing the shadow isn't easy. It's like shining a torch into the dusty corners of your mind and seeing what's been hiding there. But it's also where the magic happens. By owning those hidden parts, you start to become whole. This process takes guts. It means asking yourself what really matters, not to your boss, your mates, or even your family, but to you. It's about listening to that quiet inner voice that's been drowned out by the noise of life. For some, it might mean shaking things up, changing careers, rediscovering a passion, or having tough conversations about what you need. For others, it's quieter, like carving out time for reflection or reconnecting with what brings you joy. Either way, it's about living life on your terms. The science behind the shift. Here's the cool part: science backs this up. As we age, our brains start to change in ways that make this kind of growth possible. Neuroscientists have found that by your 40s, the emotional centers of your brain become more balanced. You're less likely to fly off the handle or get caught up in drama. Instead, you get better at stepping back, reflecting, and making choices that align with what you value. It's like your brain is giving you a leg up to live with more intention. This emotional maturity is a game changer. In your 20s, you might have been driven by the need to prove yourself or keep up with the crowd. But at midlife, you're more likely to say, "Stuff it. I'm doing what feels right for me." You stop sweating the small stuff and start focusing on what brings meaning, whether that's deeper connections with your loved ones, giving back to your community, or just enjoying a sunrise surf session. The challenges and rewards of midlife. Don't get me wrong, midlife isn't all smooth sailing. This whole unraveling thing, as researcher Brené Brown calls it, can be messy. Letting go of old identities, relationships, or goals can feel like losing a part of yourself. You might question everything you thought you knew, and that uncertainty can be daunting. It's no wonder some people hit this stage and feel like they are in a tailspin. But here's the flip side: that messiness is where growth happens. It's like clearing out an overgrown garden to make space for something new. You're not just tearing things down, you're building a life that's more you. And the data backs this up. Studies show that people in their 40s, 50s, and beyond often report higher life satisfaction than younger folks. They are more comfortable in their own skin, less hung up on what others think, and more focused on what lights them up. This is what Abraham Maslow, another psychology legend, called self-actualization. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, not in a flashy, Instagram-worthy way, but in a deep, meaningful sense. At midlife, it's less about chasing external wins and more about finding inner peace. It's about living a life that feels true, even if it looks different from what you'd planned. Embracing the freedom of midlife. Jung believed that midlife is a turning point, a chance to embrace the full complexity of who you are. It's about owning your successes and your failures, your dreams and your disappointments. It's about accepting yourself, warts and all. As Jung put it, the scariest thing is to accept yourself completely, but it's also the most liberating. This is the gift of midlife, the freedom to live authentically. You've done the groundwork, paid your dues, and learned a thing or two along the way. Now, You get to use that wisdom to create a life that's real and whole. It's not about having all the answers, it's about asking the right questions. What do I want to leave behind? What kind of life do I want to build? How can I make every day count? So, next time someone jokes about a midlife crisis, have a chuckle and set them straight. Midlife isn't the beginning of the end. It's the start of something profound. It's a time to stop researching and start living. And if that's not worth celebrating, I don't know what is.